One of the things I hear the most from not just young people, but any age really, is that they feel stuck or that they aren't progressing. And those quotes are something I have an issue with, as I think even if you sat and did nothing, just the very thoughts you go through during the day will be some form of progress. Although I'm no exception and also still struggle with the same problems. Sometimes it just comes and creeps to the forefront of my mind, regardless of what you've actually got going on. For a weird reason, I almost feel like that thought creeps in when I'm doing more things than normal, or actively attempting to at least. I don't exactly get it or understand why that happens. I don't know if it's a dormant part of my brain that's just a workaholic that I poke with a stick, or what it is. And although I'm not the fondest of that feeling, as it just makes me feel uneasy, and I can't explain it really, as I don't understand it yet, which again concerns me a little bit. I like to kind of be on top of that. As mentioned, I'm a chronic thinker, and from medical professionals, I'm unfortunate and blessed with another double-edged sword, and its form is high cognitive function. Not quite the best Zampacto. In the case of mental health though, it probably takes most effects as much as my actual thought process is the opposite to it. It's the opposite to being stuck, and I almost get lost trying to figure out why I'm feeling lost. A big player I feel for others is money or work, but I don't feel a necessary force to work my life away every single day for a minimal difference in pay if I work one day less, as well as I don't really buy new things. I bought 3 t-shirts this year, plain, from a supermarket, and probably spent in total like 20 quid or 20 Great British Pounds, 20 GBP for those who don't know. I also don't know what that translates to in other countries, but considering all things, it's my experience, I guess. But those 3 t-shirts are like the last bits of clothing I bought in years. If I do, it's boxers, socks, something necessary and usually cheap. But I was lucky in a sense in school, as I worked a high paying job and worked loads for good money, so I just splashed on designer clothes and shoes, and by God's grace, he didn't make me grow. So I still fit in them all. To explain a little bit more on that, because I feel like that early job as a kid kind of seems amazing, but if I had the chance to do it again, I probably wouldn't. You see, at that time in school, I did 2 lessons at most, and then worked the job the rest of the days, and I was working maybe 30 plus hours, sometimes more at 16. And the wage I was on was something called equal pay in the UK. So it meant that regardless of my age, I didn't get paid minimum wage. I actually got paid something like £8.10, which, as you can imagine, as a 16-year-old, is unfathomable. Seeing as a week before that interview, I was 15, working a paper round for £30 a week. Again, I will say I was barely doing school, and if I had the choice, I'd have rather just worked a lot less hours and actually got my school stuff done and passed more than I did. Although, I will also say I don't regret it. It's my tale, it's how my life went down. It's on me to make the most out of the next chapters. All this to say that other people need to work X amount of hours to earn X amount to feel comfortable. I'd say my comfort level is much lower entry. To be honest, I don't mind how much money, as long as bills are paid and I have a little bit to enjoy activities with my family and friends. Which benefits me, as it means that that monetary gain gives me memory gain, and I can hopefully make moments with my favourite people. And because of that, it isn't something that worries me progression-wise. I don't feel stuck, as long as I make enough money to keep all things essential in check. I fear progression more in a sense of self. I guess in all honesty, I'd say it's probably because of a comparison issue. Now I will say that it's not a judgment being passed on someone negatively. Usually it ends up being myself that is the one dealing with the negative judgment, as I sit thinking, oh, this person is younger than me and in this stage, or they are this many years older and what feels like 10 stats ahead. But then you speak to them and realize they are also struggling. The person that you thought had the one up on you also feels stuck and feels like someone else has the one up on him. Again, back to the idea of everyone's navigating the same world for the first time. Although, because of those types of thoughts, I feel people end up getting more stuck, entering the endless wormhole that is your own mind. Although I'd say I'm a chronic thinker, I would also dare to say it can lead you to the wrong parts of your mind. You can end up in that wormhole with no way out and get lost. But in direct argument to that, I also feel that if you never take on those thoughts, you can't learn from them, find out about yourself from them, you keep yourself very same. Although I don't think same exists. An hour ago you were a different person. In the grand scheme of things, no you aren't. No change in eye color, hair color, skin color, but maybe you read something or you saw something that your brain took a tiny nug from. Maybe it changed the shape of something you thought of. It might not be a major difference, but even a slight difference in change is change. If for the past 3 days your room's been a mess, but on the 4th day all you do is make the bed and leave the rest of the room, yes, it's not the ideal end goal, but it's progress. And although you might find ways to go at yourself with thoughts like, I made my bed but my room's still a mess, stop, because then you're just knocking yourself down. Who do you think you are? Like, do you think you're some superhuman that should be incapable of thinking, feeling, or needing to deal with those thoughts or feelings? Because if you do, then you're just wrong. We're humans, we face struggles, hardships as well as victories. I always like to believe I'm improving every time I wake up. Then again, there was a time in my life where the idea of improving my life was something that seemed impossible, or, well, just not even wanted. Now, I don't know how to say it, but if you guys have enjoyed any of my rambles enough, or feel like you've got advice, a sub or a like or a comment, from my knowledge, helps get this out more. And if you were helped or you enjoyed it enough, then maybe somebody else will feel the same. And it feels weird to kind of ask this type of stuff, so it's probably going to be one of the few times that I actually do. But, you know, you guys are great and you guys are helping me. So I hope you help me, and we together help others. But back to the actual topic. For me, one of the scariest things I feel about being stuck is the type of stuck. And although I mentioned that money wasn't something I fretted over, I will say nothing scares me more than debt and the idea of being stuck in that. Which I guess means that me saying that I'm not worried about money is probably a lie, but it's not something that I'm constantly thinking of at the front of my mind, I guess. Because fortunately, it's not a reality, and I'm able to keep my head down on enough to only worry about what I have going on right now. That doesn't change the fact that laying in bed or sitting on the couch, the thoughts of being stuck in place, the thoughts of not progressing in any regard don't pop up. It's just that as soon as they appear, I stop myself. I breathe. And I go over the things that I'm currently doing, the things that I'm working on and toward. And after thinking about those, I go back to 2 months, 3 months, hell even 6 months sometimes and say, what was I doing back then? Was it as much? Was it the same stuff? And that way, I'm usually able to say, hey, you are still moving, regardless of if you're doing more or less than previous months. Thinking about how much I've been doing makes me realize if I'm really stuck, or that I'm just not as busy or more busy than I have been, as well as setting dates, times, or investigating passions, which I spoke on, as I feel passions make people special. The dates and times, though, is something I actually first learned during a session I had. See, when it was coming to an end, I didn't feel ready, like I needed to speak for months, if not years more, to try and completely heal myself. But then the therapist told me that having an end date gives you something to look forward to, that the closer you get to the date, you know that you're moving, that you're not halted. And look, I get that everyone is different and that sometimes the mind state that you're in and what you're thinking about is so difficult to overcome that you can't help but feel stuck. But if that's the case, then I want to tell you what I believe is happening, what you're currently doing, and I think you are currently fighting. You're swinging your sword with no thought other than to fight till you can't stop. Right now it feels like a constant wave of soldiers, and you're the only warrior. Kinda like Berserk in Guts fighting the 100 men in the Golden Age arc. That's what you're doing, and eventually no matter how depleted and drained you'll feel, the wave will end. You'll break out the bubble that isn't bursting, and you'll excel and supersede the idea of self that you had. Yes, you may not be the next Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, but you will still be in a better position than you were before. You'll know how to handle your feeling of stuckness, and you'll be happy and proud of yourself for even being able to do it. So really, you're not stuck. If you thought you were, why are you watching this video? A video of a lad speaking about how he sees being stuck and how he helped himself and maybe could help you by giving you a little bit of help. Because if you weren't progressing, if you weren't moving, then you wouldn't be here. You're incredible. You are you. You are moving. Keep it up and everything will be alright. If there wasn't bad times, there couldn't be good times. If there wasn't sadness, there couldn't be happiness. It's part and parcel of our gift of life. Relish in it. All hardships lead to glory, no matter the size of that glory. It was almost like some gladiator speech or something. Right. Well, either way, I'm yapped out. I hope you enjoyed the world from my rambling lad's perspective, and I hope you stay safe.